There's a lot of people that aren't prepared for parts of their future because of their wanting immediate gratification. You can either, have immediate gratification, like eating a burger and taking a nap, or you can have high self-esteem, meaning you can like yourself by eating a salad and going to the gym. So immediate gratification also is more for like 5-year-olds. So we kind of have to grow out of acting like 5-year-olds and start making bigger, better, wiser choices.
Hello, and welcome to the PSI Podcast, a podcast for you to explore where a life lived with purpose meets transformation. Each week, we will bring you powerful insights, inspiring stories, and real-world tools for you to break through your limitations, unlock your potential, and live the life you are meant to. I'm your host, Tim Bowen.
And I am your co-host, Mackenzie O'Kelley. For more than 50 years, PSI seminars and PSI World have helped thousands of people create the life they deserve to live. And now, it's your turn.
Welcome back to the PSI Podcast. My name is Tim, joined as always with our co-host, Mackenzie. And today we are back for part 3 of this 4-part series with the one and only Renee Cermak, all about overcoming fear and rejection. And so we're going to start off this part talking about the number one skill for overcoming fear and rejection. So Renee, don't keep us waiting. What's that number one skill?
Number one skill for success. Are you ready? Because
I'm so am. Give me the skills.
Number one skill is your ability to enroll yourself first, and then your ability to enroll other people second. So what I mean by the ability to enroll yourself is that, would you agree that with life that's going to keep happening, and there's no way for us to stop it from keep happening, that there are going to be things in the next 30 years that we are not necessarily going to feel like doing, yet they're going to be good for us to do. Like, most of them fall in that whole world of adulting. Not so fun, yet necessary. And so, do I want to go meet with my accountant on a quarterly basis? No, I do not. Am I very appreciative of all the taxes that he saves me from paying? Yes, I am. At that time, am I grateful for going to those appointments? Yes, I am. And so successful people do the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And let me just preface all of it with, who said you had to be happy all the time? Because I think that's part of our downfall, is that we say things like, well, that doesn't make me happy. I don't want to do that. And so my response is always, well, who said you had to be happy all the time? Because there's lots of things that you have to do that you're not necessarily going to feel like doing, that are going to be good for your future, that are going to be good for the next 10 years, that are going to be good 30 years from now when you're in retirement. You guys with me? And so if everything is lived by whether you feel like it or not, or whether it feels good or not, I'm a little concerned about your future. And there's a lot of people that aren't prepared for parts of their future because of their wanting immediate gratification. And so you can either, have immediate gratification, like eating a burger and taking a nap, or you can have high self-esteem, meaning you can like yourself by eating a salad and going to the gym. Right. So immediate gratification also is more for like 5-year-olds. So we kind of have to grow out of acting like 5-year-olds and start making bigger, better, wiser choices for our future health, for our future money, for our future retirement. And so it doesn't feel really great to have to say no to going out to dinner. Yet when you get the keys to your new house and you're moving in, it feels really good. It doesn't feel really great to say no to dessert all the time. Yet when you're now finally in your bikini looking amazing, you're pretty grateful for all of those no's. And so one of the learnings is that successful people say no quite often.
And I bet when you're buying that house, you don't remember the dinner you skipped or what you would have eaten. When you're in your bikini, you don't remember the dessert that you would have tasted, right? Like, but in that moment, it can be so powerful. But looking back, it didn't matter because you have your house and you have your confidence and your self-esteem.
Exactly. And you have all of those, because when you get there, you do remember the willpower and the, like, and how difficult it was to make the bigger, better, wiser choices, because it still doesn't make it easy in the moment. Like, I used to think my husband is one of those people that goes to the gym at like, oh, dark 30, like at a time that I don't even consider being awake in the world, but he's out there doing that. And one day I was like, well, you love going to the gym at that time. And he goes, no, I do not. It's No, I do not. And that was shocking to me. Like, I honestly believed that he enjoyed going to the gym that early in the morning. And what I found out is that what works for him and his life and feeling good about himself and keeping himself in shape and how to make his whole day work is by going to the gym at dark 30. Like, that's the reason why he does it. And the fact that he does it day after day after day after day is pretty extraordinary. Like, my husband is like the king of consistency in a lot of things. And but when you think about, though, when you're able to make choices that are good for you, good for your health, good for your finances, good for your family, and you're able to do them day after day after day. And these are not easy choices. These are difficult choices. Now, what goes hand in hand is that with that is the self-esteem of being a human being that's able to separate themselves from the masses, that's able to make difficult choices. And I mean, if you look at it, there's nothing extraordinary that came from easy, from comfortable, from when I feel like it. There's nothing extraordinary that comes from that. There's no extraordinary lives that get created from that. But when you do things that are inconvenient, uncomfortable, difficult, and you have a relationship with being that type of person, meaning that uncomfortable, difficult, inconvenient doesn't stop you. And if you really recognize that that's where the goods are, that you would say yes to more difficult, inconvenient, uncomfortable things, because that's where growth begins. That's where self-respect, self-esteem, that's where pride all comes from. Like, if you've ever done a labor of love and you look back on it and you're like, wow, I did that. Like, it's just amazing because it would have been easier not to, and you did it anyway. And it would have been everything falls into, it would have been easier not to, and you did it anyway. And the fact that you did it anyway, it was inconvenient, it was uncomfortable, it was difficult. That's when you're like, your face lights up, your eyes light up when you remember who you were and what you did and who got to be the benefit of that. And if you really look at personal growth, and like, because everybody listening to us, right, is most people have been through our classes and have experienced the personal growth, and everything extraordinary started with an upset. Like, everything great that happened in your world of personal growth started with you going, I don't like that, or I don't think it should be like that. It started with resistance. It started with an upset. It started with somebody making a comment that was closer to the truth and you didn't like it. And then you got over the upset. You got over whatever it was, and whole new worlds opened up. And so more people, and I think the key is to embracing upsets. Like, when I used to do PLD, a 90-day program, it was like, well, my goal, and I would tell them on day one, my goal is to get you through as many upsets as soon as possible, because you're going to create a different relationship with upsets, and it's going to lead to so many extraordinary things, because everything great in the world of personal growth started with an upset. So welcome to your next upset.
Ooh, I love that. Well, we always say that in our classes that your class doesn't start the day that you show up. It starts whenever the resistance, or in this verbiage, the upset of, time, money, kids, life, blah, blah, blah. Like that's when your class starts. It's not the day that you walk in. So yay for the upsets. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that. With PLD, it's like, well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, I don't like that. Well, and so everything in that 90-day program is about getting over yourself. It's not them, it's you. It's not them, it's you. And something I saw recently, I just have to share it because it came up. It was like a New York Times article and it said, "Don't be a hothouse flower." And I go, I have to read this. I don't know what they mean. So I had to read it. So I dive into it. And so basically it talks about more people starting to live together to combat the loneliness factor, families, like a grandmother. And so when people live together, they have to compromise and they have to be more flexible and in order to live together. And if we don't live with other people, we tend to get more set in our ways the older that we get, and we become hothouse flowers because hothouse flowers have very specific parameters in order to live. And if they fall out, like temperatures, sun, the coverage, so if they fall out of those, then so the whole thing was like basically be more flexible, stop being a hothouse flower. And I had to check into like there are things that it's like it's got to be this way, it's got to be my way. And so now my new saying is like stop being a hothouse flower. It's time to be more flexible, more compromising, because there's not a lot of great things that happen from your very specific conditions because very few people can meet your very specific conditions. And then nobody wants to play with you, which kind of brings up what the other thing that we're talking about here is not just enrolling, being able to enroll yourself to get up and do things when you don't feel like it. But that is the number one skill. Okay. So to be able to have conversations with yourself, to enroll yourself, to play games with yourself if necessary. Like me and my world involves a lot of treats. I don't know if you follow me on that, but there's a lot of, I get this done and then I get to have a treat. And so you got to figure out how your brain works, how you work, and how to best set up being able to enroll yourself. Mel Robbins talks about the 5-second rule. That's one way to enroll yourself, like not even giving yourself an option. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and get going. Because if you heard the podcast, you heard my I quoted the guy from my book about the running quote. Well, I don't feel like running. Well, that's because you're not running yet. If you were running, pretty soon you'd feel like running. And so that is one of the tools of like, get going, start doing the thing that you don't feel like doing. And pretty soon you're going to feel like doing it. But the other half of that is your ability to enroll other people, because my coach once said this to me: having good ideas and being able to enroll people into your good ideas is very different. And so in order to be successful, you have to be a great enroller of other people. And we're talking about, because I mean, think about it, like every day, we are enrolling people into who we are, what we're about, where we're going. The question is how effectively. And if I were more effective in enrolling people into who I am, where I'm going, and how valuable it is to be in a relationship with me, whether it's to date me, whether it's to befriend me, whether it's to do business with me, whether it's to become my business partner, like all of these things require me to enroll them into me and my value. Because the same enrollment skills that it takes to get somebody to date me is the same enrollment skills to get somebody to be my business partner, is the same enrollment skills to get people to buy my products. It's all about how I am showing up such that people want to play with me. Because the thing is, people are making decisions every day, all day, about who they want to play with. And they're picking play partners. The question is, are they picking me as one of them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, one picked on the dodgeball court.
And I think you're talking about your check boxes and the momentum, and that it just becomes like natural. And I think that when you get into that, like people call it flow or whatever you want to call it, then it almost like the enrolling is just magnetic, like it's natural. People want to be around you because they go, whoa, I want whatever that is. And then it makes, in my experience, like it makes the enrolling actually much easier because it's just, they can see you, they can feel you, they can want some of whatever you have going on. And it's not like such an uphill climb to have to enroll people into your vision because it feels like it just kind of flocks to you, right?
It's like constantly staying in that momentum, right? We find what works, we make our tweaks, we continue to move forward. Just like, Renee, you're talking about, I don't feel like running, so I need to run. Sooner or later, I'll feel like running. How do I know? Because I'm still running, right? It's part of it's like we get over our fears, we get over the rejection and everything else that comes along with that because we just keep going. We're not only retraining our brain and kind of rewiring to a degree, but we're showing the people around us, and this is where enrollment comes in, like we are committed, right? And that is how I can enroll someone into what I want for me and for them because it's genuine, right? Like I am walking my own talk.
Okay, this might be number 2 then. All right. But this is from tut.com, Mike Dooley, Notes from the Universe. And so it goes, little is more impressive, inspirational, or sexy than watching someone in the throes of action, driven by purpose, oblivious to all but their aim. And then it says, today has your name all over it, signed the universe. And so when I first read this, and it's been like a long time, this quote gets me emotional because like this is like the point of personal growth. This is the point of PSI seminars. This is the point of the 90-day game of PLD. So I tell this to people when I'm working with some people. I say, how many of you have ever wanted to attract somebody back? Like somebody broke up with you and you were like, I gotta get them back. Like that's like, I need them back. And how many have ever done ineffective things to get them back? Like by, running after them, like, wait, but me, but, and like this whole neediness thing comes about and it's very unattractive. And so I ask people, how many of you would like a tool to be able to attract somebody back should that ever happen again? And this is what I tell them. And then I read them that quote about little is more impressive, inspirational, or sexy than watching someone in the throes of action, driven by purpose, oblivious to all but their aim. And so I'm talking to them usually in the 90-day game of PLD. And I said, so this is your shot. This is 90 days of you getting 100% enrolled into who you are, what you're about, where you're going, so that you are you're oblivious, like you don't even know what that people are talking about you. You don't even care if anybody is talking about you because you are oblivious to all but your aim, because you are so clear about who you are and where you're going and what you're about, because you're clear about your purpose. You're driven by your purpose. You're in the throes of action, because I always think about PLD of people going after these really big goals. They're in the throes of action. They're getting clear about their purpose, who they are. They're getting a productive relationship with rejection. All of that is happening. And then I ask them, if you were living that, and you for a moment happen to take a break and turn around and look over your shoulder, what do you think you would find there? And they sometimes, they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, number one, there would be thousands of people following you that you didn't even realize were following you because you're oblivious and because you're driven by your purpose. But not only would there be 1,000 people, there would be that one person that you wanted to attract back, the one that broke up with you. But guess what? At this point, you no longer want that jackass because he didn't even see your value back in the day. And now that you're even more valuable because you're so clear, he or she no longer, or they no longer fit who you are, because you're that much bigger, and somebody bigger and better is going to come along that you're going to attract to match how fabulous you are.
Thank you so much, Renee. Thanks, Mackenzie. If you are new to PSI seminars, if you've been inspired by anything you've heard today, we invite you to head over to psiseminars.com and learn all about the PSI Basic Seminar. And for everyone tuning in, don't miss our next episode. It'll be part 4 in this series with Renee Cermak, all about overcoming fear and rejection. We will see you soon.
Thank you for joining us today for the PSI Podcast.
If today's conversation sparks something for you, don't let it stop here. Share this episode with someone who's ready for their next breakthrough, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an opportunity to grow. I'm Tim Bowen.
And I'm Mackenzie O'Kelley. Until next time.